Hi guys, Ray here, City Fan TV. Big fight for the title this season, and you know, the also-rans are falling away. Hello, Liverpool! Hello, Liverpool! If we go and win it now, I'll never live it down. And City and Arsenal march on, and I'm joined by the living legend that is Bernard Dineen. How you doing, mate?
Not so living at the moment, but yeah, I'll take the legend bit, but I'm half living at the moment.
Half man, half biscuit. That's it. You were down in at
the old City ground. Yes, first time in about 30 odd years. I think. I don't think it was last time I went.
All right, blimey. I was down in. I remember going down Nottingham last February to bought this car from Nottingham, and you go. Actually, we drive past the Notts County's ground, and go. And you can. And I think City were playing that day. When I went to collect the car, I went on the train, and City were playing at Forest that day, and the train was packed. I mean, I didn't get a seat, and very noisy train and game where we drew 1-1 last season. But we managed to beat them this season. And obviously...
Somehow.
I watched that game. Hey. Got me Haaland mug out. Legend, absolutely. But yeah, interesting. Obviously, before the game, we found out that Phil Foden was ill. And whatever he had, by the signs of it, Ruben Dias had as well. Were you a little bit worried when, at least, Foden is such a inspirational player for us at the moment? He's our most important, I would say, most important player. Were you a little bit concerned?
Yeah, I mean, he was in my 11, of course, my starting 11. So, I mean, I ended up getting 9. So that was one of them. Of course, I had Foden in. And I just couldn't understand the logic of playing Grealish and Doku. I just could not, for 1 minute, understand. Of course, I had Kovacic in my team to start, and I thought, well, how it turned out, I was probably righter than Pep, surely. I mean, as it was.
Yeah,
I just don't understand the logic. I've picked Grealish and Doku together in games. I have, but not this one. Not here. I just couldn't understand what he was up to.
I couldn't understand why he had Bernardo playing inside to get the ball and move the ball and keep the ball and drop back and all that. So I get that, but surely Kovacic can do that. Surely that's ready-made for Kovacic. And I agree. I wouldn't have a Grealish and Doku. I'd have had one of them on the left. I would have had Bernardo on the right like we normally do. Maybe Pep's trying to, I wouldn't say overthink it. Maybe he's just trying to mix it up a little bit. You know, he's lost the legs of Foden and that zippiness and that control. And maybe he thought, pop Bernardo in to give us some of that and some creativity as well. But yeah, I mean, it certainly didn't work for Doku. I mean, he lost that ball a few times, and down their wing, it was too easy. Grealish wasn't fantastic. He had a couple of moments, but nothing really from Grealish. So we had to rely on others. And
Chris Wood.
besides him, I was going to talk about Alok. We had to rely on a guy that generally, I still say is a defensive liability, Mr. Unreliable, and that's Josko Gvardiol. He's got 3 goals in about 3 weeks. What's going on?
His trouble is he's putting us all to shame now with his goal scoring abilities. You know, we've been questioning his role, and he should be centre back and all this, and all of a sudden he's Pep. Pep won't be able to help himself now. He'll play every flipping game now while he's scoring these goals.
Well, he scored 2 belters, hasn't he, from outside the box, if I remember correctly. Unlikely goals, as you'd see from a defender, about as often as good as Kyle Walker shooting from range. And then he scores his header.
He had a cracking game.
Did he? He was shocking. That Alanga went past him like he was a statue. I don't know what he was going to. But look, we need new players. I said it before. You can't have someone like what I'm going off on a different tack, but you can't have what we were doing. We are very, again, lackadaisical, giving away the chances. And you're right. On another day, Chris Wood scores 2 goals and we lose the game. It was shocking from Chris Wood. the two that he missed, the one that he barely touched one, and the other one that he tapped and that got blocked. So that was the difference. And I was watching that game and I was thinking, how lucky have City been? And that's it. How lucky? I'll ask you that question. How lucky was City yesterday?
Extremely. We rode our luck. We had a certain amount of, all right, even though it was 4-0 against Brighton, we certainly had the rub of the green as far as decisions are concerned. And this one, I mean, how much luck are we going to get? You know, we've only got 4 league games left. I suppose we're not going to ride our luck for the next 4, not with teams like even Fulham and Tottenham away. I mean, I'm confident winning the home games, but, you know, and Arsenal keep piling on the pressure, don't they?
Arsenal keep battering teams. You know, the goal difference, we won 2-0, but the goal difference
by 1, didn't we?
Yeah, goal difference. I still think the goal difference is insurmountable because to get that goal, to catch up on the goal difference, it's
only 7. It's only 7, so we put thingy to the sword next week. Wolves 4 or 5. You know.
Yeah, but the goal difference only comes into it is if we draw one and win the other 3, and they win the other 3. So in 3 games, we have to make up 7 goals. Honestly, I just don't see it. I just don't see how we can make 7 goals up against Spurs, even though they were shocking against Arsenal yesterday. And we could, if they play like that against us, we could put 4 or 5 past them. But I just don't see us battering West Ham. Not West Ham, sorry, Wolves. Yeah, West Ham at last game of the season. I don't want it to come to that where you need to beat West Ham 6-0 to make it. And I heard some Spurs fans today saying they don't mind losing 8-0 to City if it means that City win the title. And hey, good on you, Spurs fans. I've never liked you, but hey, for one
I'm sure United fans are saying the same because they're playing Arsenal.
Yeah. So no, I think all teams have got the right sort of integrity to do this, unless Ange puts out an under-21s team, and even then, I think they'd give us.
He's got connections. I mean, Postecoglou, you know, he's got connections with us. So all the conspiracy theories you like.
Well, no. Look, if you put the under-21s out, I still think they'd give us a game. The way we're playing, we're giving up too many chances. I mean, look, Forest played reasonably well yesterday, actually. And if we're honest, they deserved something from the game, didn't they?
Definitely deserve something. I've no qualms that they'll survive. I can't see, playing with that team. I know the pressure's ramping up as with only 3 games to go, or whatever it is. But they got Sheffield United away, who are already relegated.
Maybe Sheffield United play with a bit of freedom.
That's what I'm saying. That could be dodgy now because they are relegated. Of course, they got Chelsea at home. They could be able to beat them. And then I think they got Burnley away as well. Have they then after that?
Yeah.
And, so it's in their own hands. But I mean, I was quite not pleased. I was quite impressed. I was quite impressed with how they played. And how they had to go. And I think, well, I think the manager does it. Manager's always done that anyway. He's always been fairly positive, hasn't he, as a manager? Yeah. So,
well, see, their problem is obviously that last game of the season. If it comes down to it against Burnley, that's a big issue for them. Burnley, although they haven't been winning games, they have only lost, I think, 1 in the last 6. They've got 4 draws and a win. So they've not made much ground on Forest because Forest have got 2 draws and a win. But they're creeping up, and I can see them getting something against Newcastle at home. I mean, they could even win that. The way Newcastle, are rocking a bit away from home. But I can see Burnley
brilliant. They've gone really good at home, and as you say, rubbish away at the moment. I
can see Burnley sneaking something at home to Newcastle. I can't see them sneaking anything away to Spurs. And then they got that Forest game. I mean, it would be nice, actually. It would be crazy to think. I mean, Forest, in the meantime, have got their appeal. They might get a point back. I can see them getting a point back from the appeal. But it'd be great if you go to the last game and Burnley have got to beat Forest to stay up and send Forest down. Wow. I mean, I never would have thought Burnley had a chance the way they were. Vinny's been, sticking his nose in the air and carrying on with what he's doing. But anyway, back to our game. A bit of pressure, obviously, before once we knew Arsenal's result. I mean, that was a squeaky bum time for Arsenal in the end, which it shouldn't have been. But we can only do what we need to do, and we're doing it. And it's not easy, and we might have loads of dollops to look. I mean, and I hate this. I really do hate this part of the season because it is proper squeaky bum time. And I'll ask you that. I mean, I think you've answered it, but I'll push you on it. Can we win all our remaining games? Do you think we will?
I'm still praying that Arsenal cock up somewhere. I'm still. I know they've only got 3 games left or whatever, but I'm still praying that something will happen. It's just that Tottenham game, mate. All right, we've got to beat Wolves and we got to beat Fulham.
Yeah,
we got to get through them. One game at a time, rubbish. But I mean, it's obviously you're looking at Tottenham and we've got it off our back now. We have beat them at their place, so that's all right. It was probably both teams were slightly down, perhaps on the best teams. I don't think Tottenham made that many changes when we played them in the cup. Same with City, we played a reasonable team. Of course, we've no Edison now by the looks of it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's happened to him? I mean, this guy, he used to get his head kicked in and play 3 games later, and all of a sudden he's picking up injuries like there's no tomorrow. Is something gone on?
He's become a soft lad. I mean, that's just, I think, third injury this season. I mean, having said that,
when you take a kick to the head and get up and play 3 days later in the past.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Do you think there's something? Do you think there's something deeper in that with Ortega putting him under pressure?
Well, he's probably under a bit of pressure with Ortega because Ortega's not really done anything wrong.
You do know I didn't know we changed goalies yesterday. It wasn't until I got back on the coach and I saw the ratings. I had no idea. That's a good sign, isn't it?
It depends, mate. Depends if you were behind our goal in the second half.
It was at the other end. So
I was going to say, if you're behind our goal in the second half and you can't tell, there's a problem.
I said to the guy next to me, I said, "Oh, Kovacic is on. And he said, "Oh, Doku's gone off." But he didn't say, "Oh, the goalie's changed," because I was just come up from the loo before they kicked off, so I must have missed it. Yeah. And then obviously all throughout the game, and he's pinged a couple of long balls and a couple of okay things. I'm like, oh, he's okay this half. And then obviously when I got back on the coach and looked at the player ratings on the evening news, but what? He went 46 Ortega. I had my lenses in. I had my contact lenses in. So
blame your lenses there as well. Look, to be honest, if you're relying on Bournemouth going to the Emirates and getting something, I can't see that. Man United against Arsenal, I mean,
they've got a bit of pride. You know what United are like.
You know what United
can and they can't.
Look, United have derailed Liverpool this season with their FA Cup.
Well, they've no love for Arsenal, have they? And I don't think United fans have got any love for Arsenal.
Yeah, but they've got less love for us, mate.
Yeah, so, but you know what I mean. As players, they'd like to do Arsenal or get something off Arsenal.
So that's gonna be an interesting one because Arsenal, if we keep winning, that's the if. If we beat Wolves and Fulham, we'll be top of the table when Arsenal go to play Man United.
Yeah.
So
pressure. Yeah.
There is that pressure because they know even now they know they've got to win their games. But I think some of the pressure is released a little bit because they're playing first.
Because they release their own pressure by everyone saying it's our title now, aren't they? Everyone, it sort of eases it for them as well.
Yeah, but it is interesting, and a lot of things. I'm thinking about the end of the season already about what's going to happen in the summer because for me, Alvarez ain't doing it. He's scored 1 goal in about 10 or 12 now. Grealish.
His overall performance was okay yesterday. I thought
he works hard.
Yeah,
he works hard, but that shot he had,
I mean, that was nowhere near. I mean, at least hit the target, mate.
Yeah. I mean, he had the options to hit the target. He had the options to try.
He could have moved it on, as you said. He could have provided a cross or anything.
Yeah. Or he could have chopped back. I mean, that's what I was waiting. It's on his weaker foot, so
he was drifting wider every time. Well, what you sort of think to yourself, I'm not going to shoot here because there's not much chance of scoring, but he still did.
But you saw what Haaland did to his fella. All right, his fella was injured, but Haaland just did that stop as if he was going to go the other way. And then carried on. That guy stops, and then it's too late. Haaland's got his half yard. And I thought Alvarez could have done the same. You look like you're going to shoot, and then you just cut back, and you have a shot with the right foot. If you do it quick enough, no one's getting to you. No one else chasing it. You only got to focus on that one man, and then at least you're on your good foot. But anyway, we won the game. Haaland scores his goal. Gvardiol scores his goal. We roll on. Do you think? We'll talk another day about the next game because it's next weekend, so we've got a few days to think about it. Foden and what's his face, Ruben Diaz will be fit. So will we have a full squad? It's only Edison we're thinking about now, and he's only tapped his shoulder. I mean, big deal.
Well, he had it in a sling, but that'll be precautionary, surely.
Yeah.
But
I think he'd be all right.
Yeah, obviously, no one's worried about it, as I'm not, because I thought it was the same bloke, so it doesn't bother me.
But we're gonna have a full squad then. There's no one else.
Most City fans are not, but we're not bothered. I don't think any City fans overly worried now, are they? To be honest with you,
about what?
I still worry deep down because I still think he's got faults in him that at the moment have not come out. I think he's got faults in him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the thing is, I mean, if this was last season, I'd be more worried. But I think he's played a little bit more this season as well. He's got a bit more experience.
He's responded to the pressure as well. He's come on in key games and done a good job. So he's proven he can put up with the stress and the pressure of it.
All keepers make mistakes. It's how you recover from them. And I just think Ortega Moreno. We'll finish off on him. Finish the chat about him. He's good enough to be a first team keeper somewhere else. He's good enough to be our first team keeper. The more he plays, the more experience he gets, the better he will be. The more relaxed he'll be, the better decision making he'll have. And I think he'll be a little bit better at distribution as well. The question is, do you think he'll be here next season?
Well, that's it. I doubt. I think he'll be after, people will be after him. I think someone will want him, or he might be reasonably happy to stay. But if you get a half decent team coming in for you, I think the thing is when he left Germany and he played for that team that got relegated into at the end. I think they got relegated.
I mean, Bielefeld or Bielefeld.
I mean, he was doing. I was reading up, but I've done a little thing on Ortega for my own thing, and I was sort of reading up on it, and it's really easy to have good games when you're getting battered because as a goalkeeper, when your team's rubbish, you can be the best player. I've done it myself. I've been our best player when we've been absolute garbage. When I've been our man of the match when I've let 6 goals in and stuff like this. Stupid things, but. This is proving to me that he has those qualities. Of course, he didn't always. He sort of his original team. He did quite well as well. So he's had little phases where he's struggled a bit, and his confidence has gone. But that was when he was younger. He's a lot older. Yeah. How old is he? You'll know how old he is.
He's 31, mate. He's 31.
Yeah. So I mean, in his early 20s, mid 20s, and goalies are gonna make. You know what it's like as a goalie. I mean, some can just fire the bolt by the mid-20s, even though they look great in the early 20s. You know what I mean? It's how it is. Yeah, I think it is. I think he'll go. I think he will get offers. He's bound to get an offer. He can't, especially now with these last 5 games, if he plays them or say Edison is not quite able to do it, and he does showcase how good he is, then I think it's definitely going to happen.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he's been here 2 seasons. He played only 14 times last season. Only 3 in the league. All right, this season he's played a couple of more games. It's not bad, 16 games, 6 in the league. And if he does play the last 4 games, he'll be up to 20, which is a decent number. But when you look at what he was doing in Germany, even for the second team, because he was playing in the second division, so he did a bit of. I think he did a bit of for 1860 Munich for their second team, but only a few games, and a bit for Arminia Bielefeld at the start. But that was 12 years ago. But he was playing. All right, they didn't do very much outside of Germany because we're not in Europe. Very little in the National Cup. So, but if you look at his league games, 34, 31, 34, 34, 33. Massive drop off, and his age as well. It's like you remember that fella Danilo we had. He came here, he won 2 titles, and then disappeared.
He played yesterday. I don't think it was the same one though.
I don't think it's the same one, mate. Like Calvin Phillips, he's got his trophies, but now he needs to play. And maybe Ortega says, "I need to play." Maybe he gives it one more season, but he won it all last season. So what's he got left to win? He's there with the FA Cup, which he played in. If I remember correctly, the final Super Cup. I think he play in the final Super Cup. So we got that Club World Cup. We've got. He won the Champions League. He's won the league. what else is there for him to win? So if you want some trophies in your cab, for your career, he's got them. If he wants good money, he's had it. So I'd like to see him stay for another season, But yeah, then I don't know who would get coming up. But anyway, that's a chat for another day. Big man, thanks so much for the chat. You look after yourselves, and you guys look after yourselves. Catch Bernard on the Citizen channel. Lots of good stuff about football, historic football, Man City, a bit of TV stuff as well. Tons of stuff. And if you've got a few hours to spare, go and check his channel out. Cheers, guys. Take care. See you around Blues.